Hi, I'm Clemens, and this is episode 30 of Life in Lists of 30. I love writing lists of 30, and today I wanted to share 30 milestone questions. What a feeling it is to reach a big milestone. Milestones keep you honest on timing, but more importantly, give you something to celebrate. Do your happy dance. Done? Good. So the next step is crucial. Review and learn from your milestone. Notice that this isn't just a lessons learned of a full project or sprint, this is a retrospect of success. Notice that these do not just apply to career projects, but also with relationships of all types. Here are some important questions I ask myself, the team, and the bigger community. I'll answer these questions for this 30 Lists of 30 podcast project as I ask them. Here we go. 1. What are your strengths? I think I'm very good at staying on schedule and planning ahead to make an easy build routine around making these podcasts. Once the routine was optimized, it was very low overhead to just do the recording on my own time twice a week. 2. What's working? I think the format of reading is working and not working at the same time. It's working because my parents rather listen to me talk about my content rather than read it. It's safe and easy to produce. 3. What's not working? The format is not working because it's not engaging. I'm not leveraging the podcast format of having guests and interviewing conversations. The guests of guest methodology easily form podcast syndicates and connections for additional readership, so you leverage multiple networks merging on common personal contacts. I'm currently just presenting to the people I personally know. 4. What do we want? I originally did this podcast project because I wanted to try out a new medium and check it off my 40 under 40 list. Now that it's done, I think I want to use it as a way to engage with more conversations. The overarching goal is not to quit my job and be a podcaster. I just think podcasting is a good way of meeting new people and hearing them in these conversations. I definitely don't want this to be a time sink, all-encompassing project. 5. What do your clients and others want? I don't really have any clients, but my main listeners, I think they're still my parents, want me to do audio versions of all of my pieces. They like to listen to me talk instead of read the small text on their phones, and most of my friends listening want me to do interviews and be more conversational. 6. What are we going to get when we get what we want? I think once some of these goals are met, I'll just have another interesting project. I think I've reached a great milestone of just getting it done, but do I want more than this? I'll need to think about my time commitments and consistency with the rest of my passions. I do think this overall helps with the quote-unquote story aspect of my digital legacy. I think the list of 30 prompt is not very good for podcasting. 7. What tweaks do you want to make? I've actually made 30 tweaks so far with improvement on each episode. I'll do an episode on these tweaks next. The big one is to have more conversations with Vanessa or other friends. 8. Who should be involved? The involvement of friends will be a test. I would never want a podcast longer than 25 minutes, but I know asking questions will get more people involved in my projects of interest. 9. Should they be involved earlier? I really wanted to complete this project by myself and on time. It's a good feeling to check off this project from my list. If I involve anyone earlier, I would have probably gotten distracted by trying to make it perfect. 10. What's the next milestone? I hope to record 30 podcasts that are more involved than just me reading lists of 30. I'm going to aim to complete this once a week for the rest of the year. I'll try to come up with a list of 30 people I'd want to talk to from my connections, and hopefully they'll be up for a recording. 11. What artifacts can you keep from this milestone? The document and spreadsheet providing me the structure needed for delivering the podcast has been great. I'll probably also keep the methodology and tools like Canva for publishing this via Substack. 12. What artifacts can become templates? The methodology for generic list of 30 reading is already in a template, but hopefully the new set of podcast recordings will be more dynamic. I'll still keep the intros and outros. 13. How can others learn from these successes? If you want to create a podcast and need structure, feel free to reach out to me. I've got all these approaches pretty much documented pretty methodically. 14. What could have gone wrong? There are happy accidents in missing deadlines and giving myself some leniency. I don't think there's a wrong way of publishing a greenfield project where I have full control. 15. How do we mitigate these risks going further? Setting expectations is super important. I'm self-imposing a lot of my deadlines and milestones, so I don't think that there's any pressure to deliver everything to these conditions. I do think that the discipline to follow the strict schedule is one that helps with all aspects of my life. 16. What micro goals can we create to encourage better collaboration? The micro goal here is to get people to agree on collaborating. To do that, I'd probably need to make a target list of collaborators as guests on the show and friends of the show for cross promotions. From there, it'd just be connecting them, getting responses, and getting the schedule worked out. It'd be worth doing if the readership has a network of networks effect, but am I willing to do it? I'm not sure yet. Day job is still already pretty fun. 17. Is transparency and communication an issue? These will likely become an issue in the future, but I think I've been abundantly transparent about my process. 18. Operationally, are ideas brought up in a clear way? New ideas are constantly reviewed and taken into account for the direction of this podcast. It's so far a centralized solution, so it gets a lot easier. 19. Does the group understand the long-term strategy? I may have to train Vanessa on the long-term strategy here if she joins my team. 20. Is your long-term strategy still relevant given the results? Based on the completion of this milestone, I think I will change the goals so I can use this podcasting medium for other projects. 21. Is there a gap in knowledge for your team that should be learned or shared? I'll need to onboard Vanessa and the guests if I do pursue projects with them. 22. Do you need to hire a specific skill set to round out this group? I wish I could hire someone, but I'm not really taking this podcast thing that seriously. I'd probably want to outsource the marketing and scheduling side of things so I can just focus on the content. 23. What was the most difficult part? The most difficult part of this whole process was the setup. Once I was able to create an easy system for creating all of the content and organizing all my ideas, I was just able to focus on recording. There was a bit of a learning curve with the recording, but it's way easier after I finished the first few episodes and invested in the right equipment. 24. Are there more than one blockers that you need to address in the long term? I think I need to think about the time commitment and scheduling for the next phase of this project. 25. What was the most surprising part? It was most surprising that podcasts are really not that hard, and it's not as hard as I thought it would be. It was a great learning experience and a low lift to show planning and discipline. 26. Who should be recognized from this group? I'd like to recognize myself for sticking to the schedule and readjusting it when I thought it was way too ambitious. 27. Can you present the success at a conference or meeting to recognize the participants? I don't think making a podcast as a side hustle is a success worthy of a conference, but I would love to now attend some podcast conferences so I can meet some of the other creators. I think I've built this quote-unquote digital legacy item for street cred. 28. Can you summarize this success in an elevator pitch or deck slide for others to use? Sure. I made 30 episodes of a podcast for a challenge, and it was a lot of fun. 29. Has your team built a pattern of success? I would like to form a team and then create recurring patterns of success. And finally, 30. Is everyone in the team happy? I'm personally pretty happy about this project, and I would love to spread that happiness. These milestone questions were really geared towards work environments and general project management retros, but I thought most of it applied. It's very different when you're a one-man show. Well, I reached 30 episodes. I have a few ideas for the near-term next few episodes to record, but I think I'll dial back the posting a little bit. I'll focus on the retro episodes and posts and see where that leads. On the next episode, I'll talk about the 30 improvements I've made over the course of these 30 podcast episodes. I have some inception lists of 30 within my 30-day challenge, so stay tuned for that whenever it gets done. I'm off the strict schedule. Music is by Kristen Dye. You can find her on Instagram at Iron and Silver, She has videos of incredible duets and also powerlifting. You can subscribe to the newsletter and see a very transparent set of Google Docs and spreadsheets of this podcasting journey at lists30.com. Thank you for listening, and I hope everyone stays safe. Yay, I did it!